Do we know how to pronounce this car? Is it Quadrifoglio? Foglio? I think I always added extra symbols in there.
Quadrifoglio. Do you mind? We're just filming here. Camera. There you go.
All right, welcome to another Classic Car Club drive-through. Today we have Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio. I always add extra syllables in there, but I'm gonna leave it the way it is. I think it's Quadrifoglio according to our Quadrifoglio, according to our resident Long Island Italian. What is this thing? It's kind of crazy super sports sedan. Again, the bar is getting ridiculous. I'm tired of saying cars have 500-ish horsepower, but another one. It's got twin turbo Ferrari drive V6. That's doing well over 500 horsepower. It's got the requisite 8-speed ZF gearbox, massive brakes. It's got some active aero, sports sedan with active aero, pretty wild stuff. And it's ridiculously fast, It's also I think really amazing looking, So many of the German super sedans just look like each other now. You go Audi, Mercedes, whatever, I can't tell the difference anymore. They're all becoming kind of precisely designed blobs of modern metal. Alfa Romeo stayed true to their Italian roots, made this thing have a lot of flair, lots of curves, cool design stuff. If you want to roll into the burbs in your super sports sedan and do something different, you can do it. You don't have to have the same cars as everybody else. You can show up in some wild Italian exotic super sedan. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. If you want to roll up to your house, you're tired of your neighbors all showing up in the same anonymous black, European sedan of some description or SUV, rock up in this Italian Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio, and it's going to be something different. The other thing is, I have to say, it really drives different too. The one thing you can always rely on the Italians for is they don't give in to the algorithm of the compromises. They decide they want to build something a certain way and they do it. Even if it totally ruins it for one purpose, it will make it fit for the purpose that they meant it for. In this case, the result of that is you have probably the sharpest handling sports sedan I've ever driven. I don't know the exact specs, but I know this has the quickest steering rack they've put in any car of this type, and you feel it. And it's on edge. It's not a relaxing car to drive. It's in that spirit, they've made a car that is super sharp handling. I don't know the exact specs, but from what I've read, it has one of the quickest ratio steering racks they've put in a sedan like this, and you feel it when you drive the car. It wants to go, it turns in, it's eager, but that also means you have to stay on top of it. You're not necessarily like kicking back on highway cruises for hundreds of miles. It requires a bit of attention all the time. And I also have to say, as a result of that, when I first got in the car, I didn't really like it. I really struggled to find a way to drive the car smooth. Brakes are super aggressive, and especially in stop and go traffic, you're trying to ease it into a slow stop, but the brakes grab and suddenly you're just stopped, Steering, again, you have to really stay on top of it to balance it. But second time I drove it, after a bit more experience, kind of learned how to finesse it, I really fell in love with the car. I think it's, again, if you're looking for a thrilling kind of 5-seater, it's got to be among top 5 in the world. I keep seeing renderings of a wagon version. Maybe I'll have to get one of those someday. Right, so Alfa Romeo super sedan. I think we got to get behind the wheel and see what it's like to drive. Inside the car, lots of gizmos to play with. Again, it seems the kind of requisite stuff we have. We've got start-stop button, some kind of dynamic dial to choose different modes. There's also a suspension button in there that we'll talk about in a minute, but let's get this thing going. Normal, it's actually an automatic gearbox, but this is that ZF 8-speed gearbox that seems to behave like most proper dual clutch paddle shift gearbox is. It's pretty sporty. Alfa Romeo's dynamic system, you've got the DNA system, so dynamic is sport, normal is normal, and I don't know what A is. I guess automatic. Who knows? And then there's a race mode where you hold it over to get race. Don't recommend that one. It's going to take the traction control off. In this car, with all that power on tap, rear-wheel drive, you want traction control there for you. So dynamic is plenty. And then there's also a soft suspension mode button. So only available in dynamic. It's already soft if you're in normal, but if you want to get the full kind of engine tuning, exhaust, transmission tuning experience, but have softer suspension, I recommend that. 500 plus, twin turbo, V6 horsepower on tap. This thing's very rapid. On dynamic mode, it's also changing the throttle response. So when I was saying before, it's like one of those cars, a little hard to drive it smooth at first. Definitely hard when you're holding the gears and you're in the dynamic mode. If you're in traffic, you probably want to switch to the normal mode or A, whatever that is, and give you the best chance to smooth it out. But since it's uncompromised, when you get on dynamic or race mode, everything you tell the car to do, it's going to do it. It's really good. So brutal speed, really quick gear changes for an auto, and like I was saying, a sports sedan that turns in. I mean, you probably saw the camera dip a bit there. I was trying to be smooth, but it all came around pretty quick. So I turned the wheel, and the car turns in pretty sharp, and you got to be ready for it. But at the same time, it's hard to find something kind of this big with 5 seats that will do that. Demands a lot of you, but it's super sharp and engaging as a result. So like I was saying before, the Italians don't really give in to compromises. We happen to be on a really nice stretch of road here, and this car is perfect for that. They really set it up to be sharp, responsive, direct. But you know, you get in traffic, and it's good to kind of manage that and still not make your passengers sick. So I think you can live that. If you're buying a car like this, I think you want that full-on experience, and this car definitely brings it. So our experience with this car, has been a true Italian exotic experience in that nothing's perfect, and it does take a few visits to the shop on a regular basis. So, is that kind of a pain? Sure, but it's sort of the price you pay to have something unique. And also, if it was perfect and have never had any issues, it would be a German sedan. You buy an Italian one, you get the full package, including a bit of quirks. So we can forgive it for that. And the other side of that is you get some kind of outlandish design, and the experience is a bit different. So we can put up with that if we're going to have an uncompromised kind of sports sedan experience. Overall, though, I think if you want to have something different, especially checking out different cars in the club, show up, book this. It's going to be a lot different than whatever German sedan you may have driven recently. And at the end of the day, just still deliver a really genuine driving experience.